Sentinel Online. Now loading the GeekCast radio network of podcasts.
Defense shields have been penetrated. Enemy warships have entered Earth's solar system. Deploy the last wave of fighters. Taking heavy fire!
Final warning. Prepare for thermal attack.
Evacuate! Evacuate! Launch remaining escape craft.
Without a planet, we're no longer a threat.
Hey, it's me, it's Kale.
Humans.
Word.
The Titan was the key to finding the new homeworld. Your father hid the Titan. He knew the Dredge would come after him. The only way to find it is in your hand.
Me?
The Dredge wants you, only dead.
How do you know they want me dead? I happen to be humanity's last great hope.
I weep for the species.
Get down!
Titan AE.
Hello and welcome to the 68th episode of ToonCast, brought to you by the GeekCast Radio Network. I am your host, Steve Joe and Mike, and tonight I'm joined once again by Kevin Optimus Solo Thompson. Hello, sir.
Good day, mate.
How are you?
I am. Let's see, what's the word for today? I'm wonderful. I couldn't come up with anything good.
Yes. And this is the only other time in ToonCast's lifespan where I break the year rule because the timeline rule, because of the simple fact that today we're going to be talking about Titan AE, which came out in 2000. I love this film.
I feel like we're going in the future.
No, we're not. No, we're not going into the future yet. No. No. This is not 65 years in the future. This is not spring 2011 or, well, actually...
It's only 20 years in the future.
No. It's 65 years in the future. Get the joke right, damn it.
No.
No, this is not 65 years in the future. That won't happen until fall of next year, fall of 2011. So, yes. What else you been up to?
Let's see. I was working like a dog outside yesterday, and I think I sweated enough to fill, like, I don't know, an ocean of sweat. But it was too hot to be outside, but I was outside anyways, doing more landscaping stuff. But let's see, what's the latest cool stuff that's going on? Latest cool stuff going on is I am finally working on putting together a commercial section for BehindTheVoiceActors.com. I just have to make a few administrative decisions here on how it's going to be organized, and then I'm going to start knocking it out, and hopefully it'll be visible to the public in the next week or two.
Yeah, and ever since you found that video last week, which you got confused, and it wasn't part of USA Cartoon Express, but it was ABC's bumpers. I can't stop watching the damn thing.
After these messages, we'll be right back. But yeah, the commercial section at BTVA will be filled so with stuff like answering the questions for all those people as far as like who are the different voices of Captain Crunch and who are the different voices of Tony the Tiger, and all sorts of cool commercial characters. So
I thought that was the point of the voice compare.
Well, this is something where you'll be able to see even ones that didn't have more than one voice, like who did the voice of the Hawaiian Punch character. That's only been done by one voice, so it'll answer all those questions on who did the voices of commercial characters. So it's kind of cool. And then eventually there will be some voice compares where we can actually compare the actual sound clips.
Yeah, we actually hopefully I can get in contact with him again, but Yeah, we actually interviewed two of them.
Yep.
Well, same guy, but two different voices. Count Chocula and Sonny the Cocoa Puffs bird.
Yep.
Yep.
And they'll be. I mean, it'll run the gamut. It'll run from like those serial characters to like who are the voices of the red, orange, yellow, and green and blue M&Ms to the voice of the Geico Gecko and all kinds of stuff like that.
Ugh.
So it'll be fun.
I hate those damn commercials.
I love the Geico commercials.
Dude,
Except for the caveman ones. I hate the caveman ones.
They always say that they've been around for like, I don't know, 50, 60 some odd years. I swear to God, I remember a lot of commercials from the 80s. There's no way in hell Geico has been around that long.
If they were, they weren't doing commercials back then.
Yeah, well, I so don't believe that.
They're lying to you. It's all been a lie.
It'd be the first time.
Oh, what's going on with you lately?
Oh, let's see what's going on with me.
You can't use the word podcast in your answer.
Well, I've shit.
Exactly.
Let's see. I kind of started watching the Matrix set. I kind of started. I'm like, I think I'm on More Than Meets the Eye Part 3. I don't know, because the coolest thing... Well, regardless that, unfortunately, which I wish they would have recorded new interviews, but unfortunately, Shout did not carry over the writer interviews like Flint Dilley's, Buzz Dixon, and David Wise from the Rhino sets, which, fine, whatever, maybe they couldn't get the rights to them, but I don't understand why they couldn't have had new interviews done. But other than that, I'm really digging the feature of, do you want to play the multi-part episodes seamlessly? So it's like one long film.
Yeah. That gets crazy.
Yeah, because you don't know.
You're like, what episode am I on?
Yeah, really. Well, the thing about it is, though, because you only have, like, say you have a 3-parter, you have part 1, part 2, and then you don't see credits until part 3.
Yeah.
And
it's really good for those.
I like
really good for multi-parters.
Yeah, I like that more. It's more cohesive. Let's see what else. I actually placed an order with MattyCollector.com. Yeah. They have a exclusive, I don't know, how do you feel about Cars? The Pixar film.
Oh, I was like, Cars? I like to drive one.
No. The Pixar film.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so how can I comment on it?
You haven't seen it, great. Okay, well, you're no fucking help. There's a little mini series on Disney Channel called Cars Tunes, and it's Mater's Tall Tales. And it basically puts the character of Mater from the film in all these past adventures. Well, they've made toys out of these things. And Matty Collector for SDCC 2010 this year had a Tokyo Mater exclusive toy for $20. So I'm like, oh, I really, 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 really want that, because that's so cool. Because every time I go into like Walmart and I look at that kind of stuff, because right now, as of this recording, last time I looked at Walmart, the only thing they fucking have for Transformers is goddamn Tuner Mudflap from the fucking Revenge of the Fallen line. But anyway, but every time I go in there, I look at like the Superhero Squad stuff and the Marvel stuff and the DC stuff, and I also look at the Cars stuff and some of the Disney stuff. And the only Mater type of toy that they have is some sort of radio controlled or remote controlled thing, and I'm like, I don't really want that. Yeah. So when this was announced, I was like, oh, cool. And $20 is not bad, considering I believe it's all die-cast.
Excellent.
I think it is. I just hope... I don't think it's a model, so that's good, because if it's a model, I'm screwed, because I can't put that crap together.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see, what else? I am expecting to get in Megatron and Soundwave from the War for Cybertron Generations line, hopefully sometime this month. I don't know, whenever Big Bad Toy Store gets them in. I've put up a bunch of YouTube videos in the last couple weeks, showing off my different Optimus Primes, and I did a video review on the War for Cybertron Optimus Prime, and I'll do one for Bumblebee eventually. It's not happening just yet. Other than that, not much else is really going on.
I see.
Yes. So I guess we are going to get into the history lesson today.
Alrighty then. Titan AE is a 2000 what? We're in the 2000s. 2000 animated post-apocalyptic. Oh, that's good. Apocalyptic science fiction adventure film. Say that twice. Directed by both Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. The title refers to the spacecraft that is central to the plot, with AE meaning after Earth. The film's animation technique combines traditional hand-drawn animation and extensive use of CGI. Its working title was Planet Ice. Even though the film was unsuccessful at the box office, it was well received by audiences and critics alike, and has since then become a cult film. It is also the final film ever made by Fox Animation Studios in Arizona before its closure. When did you first see Titan AE?
I didn't see it in theaters, unfortunately. But there was a big push with this film, and I doubt Kevin's a fan of this band, but every trailer and every TV spot that I saw for this had Creed's Higher playing behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
I actually liked Creed when they first came on the scene until they went crazy.
Yeah. Now, I absolutely loved Creed back in the day, and there was a whole, and this is kind of off topic a little bit, there's a whole war between them and Nickelback of, like, where the music fan's going to go, to which camp. And I ended up with Nickelback, but anyway, that's a whole other podcast. I like Creed's early stuff. I liked Up to Weathered. The new stuff that they've tried to come out with lately, it's not so great, but the song Higher was just awesome, and I think it fit this film very well. But yeah, I saw the trailer, and then I saw like TV spots for the DVD that was going to come out in 2000, and I absolutely had to get this film. First of all, it had, and we'll get into this. For me, the appeal was Matt Damon and Drew Barrymore as voices, because I thought that was really awesome. What about you?
The first time I saw this movie was
yesterday.
2 hours ago. It's just something that the year was 2000. I was graduating high school. I was going off to college. I was doing 1,000 different things besides watching whatever was on TV. Or movies, really. So it just kind of was one of those that I missed. It just kind of snuck by me, and I never caught it, and for some reason never went back and watched it afterwards. But I did watch it today, and I don't know. I got mixed feelings on this one. There's a lot of things I like about it, and a few things I dislike about it, and we'll kind of get to those later on. But yeah, I don't have much of a memory of it since I just watched it today.
Yeah. But yeah, and I need to say, for the record, for ToonCast's lifespan, this will be the only Don Bluth film we ever cover in this podcast, because
I was going to ask you about that.
Because it is not depressing. Every other film that man has made is nothing but depression.
I love most of his films. I was wondering. I was going to ask you because you said something about that last week's episode, and I was going to ask you what your beef with Don Bluth is, and I understand not liking or not being into stuff like Anastasia or Bartok.
Oh no! I liked Anastasia. My main problem with Bluth in the films that he makes is films like All Dogs Go to Heaven. That's depressing as hell to me.
Yeah, I've never been a huge All Dogs Go to Heaven fan. I've never even been a huge Secret of NIMH fan. But two films that he has made I absolutely love are An American Tale and the first Land Before Time. Now, I'm not a Land Before Time geek as far as liking all 1,000,002 films that came out after it. But as far as the actual original first Land Before Time, I loved it in the theater. And An American Tale is one of my all-time favorites.
See, for me, I had a choice between Land Before Time or Fern Gully. And I chose Fern Gully because Land Before Time. Oh God,
I love it.
But no, and honestly, with what we've got for the rest of the schedule, there's no way to fit it in. We will probably make some sort of DeLorean time episode for some of the films, but I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go down his IMDb and look through all the animation that he's done. And,
that's about it.
Huh?
I just named them all.
Okay. Well.
Titan AE, Bartok, Anastasia, Thumbelina, Dragon's Lair, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Land Before Time, and American Tail. And Secret of Them.
Okay, well, yeah. Anyways. I guess we can get right into the voice actor thing here, unless you have any other general memories.
Nope, no memories, but yeah, we can get into some of the characters and the voice actors.
I don't know if this was Matt Damon's first voice acting role. I'm not sure. I know that he and Ben Affleck had just hit Hollywood. They just struck gold with Good Will Hunting 3 years before this.
Right.
But I'm not sure if this was his first voice acting gig. But when I saw his name attached to this film, I was like, oh yeah, I got to see that.
You're a big Matt Damon fan, but not a big Don Bluth fan.
Hey, shut up. Matt Damon's from my hometown, you asshole.
Don't call me names.
Call you names if I'm... This is my show, damn it.
Unless it starts with smug. Yeah, I think it was his first voice role.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb there.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up, of course. And again, the other Kevin can always comment on the website post or call in for the voicemail line. Drew Barrymore as Akima, which, really quick, going back to Matt Damon's character as Kale, I see why his character acts the way he acts when we first meet him. I mean, you would act the same way if your planet got blown up. Seriously!
It is one of the unique movies that actually shows Earth getting blown up, that's for sure.
And it shows it in a very, very awesome way. Everybody needs to see this film at least once. You don't have to own it, you just have to see it.
Yeah.
At least once. And then on the flip side of the two leads here, you got Drew Barrymore, who was born as a drifter colonist. I was going to say drifter colony bum, but she's not a bum. But anyway, Akima. I nearly fainted when I saw the purple hair. I'm like, oh yeah, that's hot. That's hot as hell.
Oh my, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you got Kale and you got Akima, which are basically your two lead good characters, and then of course you got old Joseph Corso, who is the captain of the Valkyrie, voiced by Bill Pullman of Spaceballs fame.
Yep.
And basically he's both good and bad.
Yeah.
He heads the crew. He's the captain of the ship Valkyrie, which Akima's the pilot of, and basically he switches sides more than once during the movie. He's good, he's bad, he's good again. So he's an interesting character. Yeah,
he is, and plus he was the original driver of Kale's father. Oh crap! What's the damn father's name? Sam.
Right. Professor Sam Tucker.
Yeah, Sam Tucker in the beginning.
I will say, while we're on the Corso character, that for some reason, the way they animated his facial expressions in the movie bugged the crap out of me. I love Bill Pullman as the voice, and I think that was perfect for him. But for some reason, just some of the animation of his facial expressions and stuff like that, for some reason, just didn't seem to gel with me. It didn't necessarily hit me with any of the other characters, but with him, I just didn't like how they animated his facial expressions.
With the three main characters, whether they're good guys, bad guys, as far as the main cast of Kale, Akima, and Corso here, I honestly think... I don't know. I would have to do some more research on this, and I didn't find it when I was doing the research for this episode, but I honestly think they used motion capture or something back then to capture their faces because Kale almost looks, outside of blonde hair, adult Kale, his face looks just like Matt Damon's. Same thing with Corso. He looks just like Bill Pullman, except he has a goatee thing, whatever.
Yeah. And then, of course, some of the other characters that we see on the actual Valkyrie ship. You have Goon, which is voiced by John Leguizamo.
I'm sorry to interrupt
some people
you,
find him annoying.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is the only other film besides a certain plumber film that I can actually watch him in. I do not care for John Leguizamo whatsoever.
So you don't like Don Bluth or John Leguizamo? We're learning new stuff today, folks. A lot of people find his character kind of annoying in this movie, the character of Goon. I did not find it that annoying, though. I thought it was
funny.
Yeah, I thought it was a good touch to add in. You know, like all sci-fi or fantasy things, you seem like you always have to have that comic relief, diminutive character, and
yeah.
Goon is basically that. And then, go ahead.
I was going to say, I finished my nap.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
And then the other two people on the ship with them are Preed, who is Corso's first mate, who's voiced by Nathan Lane, and then Stith, who is voiced by Janine Garofalo. And can I just ask you a question? What in the hell is Stith?
I honestly don't know. She looks like she's some sort of butch animation of Janine Garofalo. I don't know.
It is the weirdest looking character I think I've ever seen, and I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Well, it says here she's a kangaroo-like alien.
That's the only thing you can kind of compare it to, but it's just weird looking.
Yeah, it is. And
I like the look of Preed, but Stith just... what is that?
It's funny that you mentioned Preed because at first, I hadn't, I've got this in iTunes is where I watched it because I've had it in iTunes for, a couple of years. And when I watched it and I first saw Preed and I'm like, okay, I know that voice, but, and I know it was some guy named Nathan, and at first I thought it was Nathan Fillion. And I was going to make that comment here, and I know, if we have any Nathan Fillion fangirls, no, it's not him, unfortunately, for you fangirl people. It is Nathan Lane, which does an excellent job as that character.
Yeah, I think he's great, and I like that. That's like kind of a classic favorite character in the film is Preed, and I just really like the look of him. I'm not a huge Nathan Lane fan, but he didn't bug me that much in this role.
I like him in certain things.
Yeah.
I liked him. It just depends on what kind of character he's playing. Really,
this is a weird group of. This is a weird casting.
No, for the entire film, or
for the whole film. I mean, you go from Matt Damon, who's kind of like this, action star person. You have Drew Barrymore, who's kind of, classic Hollywood. You got Bill Pullman, who's kind of on the outside. He's kind of like not like main leading role these days. But then you go from like Leguizamo to Nathan Lane to Janine Garofalo. It's
okay, now hold on. Yeah, I agree. It is
just all over the place.
Yeah, and then you go from Garofalo to Clayface.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman was Professor Sam Tucker, Kale's father, who was forced to leave his son to hide the Titan ship from the Dredge, or the Dredge, or I don't know how else its stupid name, whatever, and is killed when he refuses to disclose the Titan's location to them. Ron Perlman is an awesome voice actor. He did very well as Clayface in Batman the Animated Series. He pops up in animation in places I don't often expect to see him.
Yeah.
In animation. And then you had Alex D. Linz as the young Kale. You had the Wild Thing, Tone Loc, as Tech.
Awesome. And then Jim Brewer as the cook.
Yeah.
And another famous Jim, probably the most famous voice actor on this cast, obviously, Jim Cummings, as the guy who's beaten up Kale early on in the film.
Yeah. overall, even though you said it was, it's a strange casting to have all these people in this, I don't think anybody could have done it any better than what they did.
Yeah, I think the voice acting was one of the strong things in this film, in my opinion. I thought the voices were really well done. It's a weird mix of people, but it works for the film because obviously you have a weird group of alien slash human slash, weird creature type things. So it's kind of, it fits that they have this mixture. But yeah, I think the voice acting overall is one of my highlights of the film.
Yeah. And I think for favorite characters, at least for me, it'd probably have to be Kale, just because he's the quote-unquote hero of the thing, I guess. I really... It's probably a tie between Kale and Goon. I didn't really care for Preed, the character. I mean, I almost said Fillion. Lane does a very good job with the voice, but I don't care for that character. And Stith, ugh. It's really all I can say about her is ugh.
Yeah. For me, if Corso's facial expressions wouldn't have bugged me so much, he might have been one of my favorite characters. But I think I'd have to go with either Akima or Preed as my two favorites, and then my least favorites are Stith and the Dredge alien people because I just didn't like how they were done. I thought they could have been much better.
I mean, I thought that they were done fairly well. I think it was... I didn't really like the language that they used.
Though actually, I liked the language and that they were all weird. I just didn't like the look of them as much as I was hoping for something a little more, I don't know, a little more detailed.
I like the look of their ships, the space fighters.
The TIE fighters?
Yeah, pretty much they are. And actually,
I swear they even use the same sounds as the TIE fighters shooting.
No, I don't think so.
It sounded exactly like Star Wars sound effects in some parts.
Well, actually, there is a ripoff scene here from Star Wars, and I'll point it out once we get to the plot. You probably know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else we want to say about voice acting?
No, like I said, that's for me one of the highlights of the film.
Oh boy.
We'll get to some lowlights later on.
Alright, so getting into the behind the scenes segment here. Titan AE became the first major motion picture to take part in the end-to-end digital cinema. On June 6, 2000, 10 days before the movie was released at a Supercom 2000 trade show, the movie was projected simultaneously at the trade show in Atlanta, Georgia, as well as a screen in Los Angeles, California. It was sent to both screens from the 20th Century Fox production facilities in Los Angeles via a VPN. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a bunch of prequels to this, which I knew nothing about.
All in the form of comic books and novels.
Yeah.
So if you want to know more about Kale's story, Akima's story, or Kale's father Sam's story, you can pick up some Dark Horse comics or some couple different books and learn more about them. Yes,
and we've kind of already talked about Don Bluth, so I think that's kind of done already. Gary Goldman, I'm gonna have to look up what else he's done. I don't.
Everything that Don Bluth has done, Gary Goldman's done.
Okay, well there you go. I'm surprised to see this name, Art Vitello, because hello Looney Tunes.
Yeah. It's a pretty good I think it's a pretty good direction team with those three.
Oh yeah, no, I don't have a problem with it, at least for this film, but. I was very surprised to see that part of the screenplay was done by Joss Whedon.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Joss Whedon, Buffy, Angel.
Oh, I don't watch those shows. Sorry. Don't get me started.
Oh God, here we go. So let's see here. Getting into the actual show. In 3028 AD, humanity has deep space travel and interacted with several alien species. However, a human experimental discovery called Project Titan has caused the Dredge, a species made of pure energy, to become alarmed and attack the human race. As the Dredge prepare to destroy Earth, Professor Sam Tucker and lead researcher for Project Titan, gives his son Kale, along with a broken toy project console called Titan Pro, a ring, and sends Kale on one of the evacuation ships with his alien friend Tech, the university student. Meanwhile, Sam Tucker takes the Titan Pro and other members of his team and fly the Titan spacecraft from Earth and into hyperspace. The Dredge destroy Earth, and the remainder of the human species become drifters and are generally ridiculed by other species. What are your initial thoughts of the opening here?
The opening is the best part of the movie. I like the voiceover done at the beginning by Ron Perlman. I like the way they set it up, where you basically have Earth under attack, people fleeing, Earth being destroyed, the moon being destroyed, everybody left being destroyed, and then you have these, basically these drifters, out in space trying to do whatever they can do, survive and whatnot. And I like the setup. Unfortunately, that's the highlight of the film, I think.
I disagree, but we'll continue.
It was a great opening. It was great how they showed Earth
No,
destroyed.
I agree with that part. I'm disagreeing with the part that you say that's the highlight of the entire film, because I disagree.
It's the best part of the film. It's the best 10 minutes of the film.
Anyways.
5 minutes, however long it is. The rest of it becomes very predictable.
Okay, then. 15 years after Earth's destruction, Kale, now working in a salvage yard in an asteroid belt called Tau-14, encounters the human captain Joseph Corso, who requests Kale's help to find the Titan. Kale is initially reluctant, but agrees when Corso activates Kale's ring to show a map on his hand leading to the Titan. The yard is attacked by Dredge, and the two escape on Corso's ship, the Valkyrie. Kale is introduced to the other members of Corso's alien crew, including his sly first mate Preed, an astrogator called Goon, and a cranky female weapon expert named Stith. The only other human is a co-pilot, Akima, whom Kale finds himself immediately attracted to. Corso explains that Professor Tucker encoded a map in Kale's ring that would lead them to the Titan, which is humanity's only chance at having a real future. They travel to the planet Seshrine, where the bat-like Gowl race helps Kale to understand how to interpret the map and discover the Titan to be hidden in the Andali Nebula. As the group is leaving, they are attacked by the Dredge, and Kale and Akima are captured. Thoughts on this whole thing here?
Well, this part's not horrible, but it just starts. It basically introduces some plot aspects that are going to be repeated over and over in the film. I don't know. I just hate the fact that they felt the need to, first of all, let's throw in, we have to have a romantic tie-in, so let's have two human characters and they're going to fall for each other immediately, and that'll be an underlying plot or theme throughout the rest of the movie. That's not necessary in sci-fi, and I hate it when, I don't know, there was too short of a time period and too much to do to throw that in there, so I don't care for that, even though Akima was hot. And then the whole space chase thing is one of my main issues here, and this is the first time we see it when the Dredge is coming after them. If you watch the movie and you count, there is at least 4 or 5 different, 2 to 6 minute segments where it's a space chase. Mm-hmm. It's like we're going to do this part of the plot, and then there's going to be a chase, and then we're going to continue the plot, and then there's going to be a chase. And then we're going to get further into the plot, and let's throw another chase in there, and it just got redundant for me. If they would have only done that a couple times, I would have been fine with it, and I would not have had a problem with it. But seeing one space chase after the other kind of got to me. Maybe you didn't bother. Maybe you didn't find the constant space chases annoying, but like I said, there was just a couple too many.
Yeah, I like the movie all the way through, so it doesn't really have any effect on me. The Dredge eventually discard Akima, sending her off into space in a pod while they extract the Titan map from Kale. Kale eventually escapes in a Dredge fighter and regroups with the Valkyrie. Hello, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Because seriously, if you look at that scene, and when he's, coming out and he's following the other fighters out, the other fighters of the dredge go left, he goes right. That's the exact same scene when Luke goes to Dagobah, whatever the hell the stupid Yoda planet.
Dagobah.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it. That's the exact same pattern.
There's a lot of ripoffs here, and this is another thing that I don't like is that it's going fine. You know, we have this space or this whole setup where the story is actually progressing fairly well when they're doing the plot here, because you have the dredge basically getting what they want, and now we're supposed to basically assume that they are going to head to try to destroy or capture the Titan. And so you have this whole setup where it's kind of setting up some urgency for Kale and his group, because you basically have the bad guys in control going to destroy what we want to protect and what we want to get. And then they go into some scenes where Kale is like learning how to fly and learning how to pilot and going on like this joyride test, you know, like he's getting his driver's license thing.
Now wait a minute. Come on now. That wasn't what that was about.
It was horrible.
It wasn't.
You got to go get the bad guys. You got to go stop them. They're like, "Oh, I'm learning to fly for the first time." It was bad.
And I mentioned earlier about information that we may miss that the other Kevin can call in. He's calling in right now as we're recording episode 68.
We'll get his message later.
Yeah, we'll get it later.
I just thought it was ill timing for them to. That was their. I know that, you know, with lead characters you kind of have to progress their character, and you kind of have this whatever coming of age or like growing up and taking responsibility and when he becomes a man type thing, but to have him learning how to pilot the Valkyrie while it's probably the most crucial time in the plot seemed misplaced to me. They could have found a different time to do that.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, they're going to find the Titan anyway, so it's not like they're diverting off the path for him to learn how to fly the ship.
It just seems odd.
And the other thing is you have to figure in, you know, this is all about it's all about marketing as well, because you wouldn't have. Well, I guess they would have made the song anyway, but you wouldn't have the song by The Urge. I love that damn song. What the hell's the damn name song? Learn to Fly, or not Learn to Fly? Not Learn to Fly. That's a Foo Fighters song. Damn it!
It's my turn to fly. It's my turn to fly.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
I just thought I don't have a problem with the song. The song was good. The scene was actually fine of him flying. It was just at the wrong time of the plot for me.
Yeah,
it was too urgent for them to go after the bad guys. If it would have been like earlier on when he first met the crew or something, or if it would have been like at a different point, I would not have had a problem. It just seemed like it was misplaced. Like, no, this is the time where you got to, you know, get the hell out of there and go find catch up to the bad guys.
Yeah. Do we talk about the fact that No, we haven't talked about that yet. So let's see here. So after he regroups from escaping, they find Akima's pod, and she's on this human drifter colony called New Bangkok. Which, why New Bangkok?
Exactly.
That's kind of strange, but to make repairs and prepare for the final trip to the Titan. However, Kale and Akima overhear an argument between Corso and the dredge queen, and discover that Corso and Preed are working with the dredge to try and destroy the Titan. In exchange for money, they escape from the Valkyrie, but Akima is shot and wounded by Preed in the chase. They are stranded on the colony as Corso and the rest continue to Titan's location. With the help of the other humans, Kale and Akima repair and refit the Phoenix, one of the colony's derelict spaceships, and race off to find the Titan before the Valkyrie reaches it.
Oh, God.
What? All right.
Okay.
What?
Okay. Like I said, I love the animation in this, except for the facial expressions. I love the voice acting. I think the plot's decent at times, but just another great and then horrible sequence. First of all, I love the violence that you get you actually get some violence here in kids animation type movie where you get Akima being shot. That's great. But my problem with this whole part of the plot is this. The Dredge have had a big-time head start at getting to Titan. Meanwhile, we've already had Kale learning to fly. Now they had to stop for, they had to pick up Akima. They had to make some repairs. Then they had to deal with the whole Corso and Preed thing. So now they basically get away from them, and they're stranded on a colony. Again, they're going to make more repairs to get a new ship. What in the hell, excuse my language, are the Dredge doing that's taken them so long to just get to the Titan should have been destroyed by now. It's taken them so long to get there that the Titan should have been destroyed. And now the Valkyrie is also ahead of Kale and Akima, so they should get there first and destroy it as well. It just seemed like it's taken them like all these little detours. They're like stopping for breaks and stuff like that, and basically, I just thought the Dredge should have already been to the Titan and already destroyed it.
But the thing is, though, it seems only Kale can really read the map as far as, turning his hand and motioning, and, it's kind of like motion signals.
These damn aliens blew up the Earth. They should be able to find the ship. Well,
maybe they can't read English.
I guess.
Or Ingrish, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So, amid the Andali Nebula's giant ice crystals, Kale and Akima find and board the Titan. During their exploration of the massive ship, they discover a holographic message left by Kale's now-deceased father, and left the console Titan Pro, which reveals the true nature of Project Titan and the Titan itself. The ship has the ability to create a completely new Earth-like planet, and has stores of all the DNA of the animal and plant life that once lived on Earth. The ability to create a new planet from scratch is the reason that the Dredge feared humanity's potential enough to destroy Earth. What the hell? Wait. Now specifically, it's not specifically said that in the plot. It does not. I mean, they say Corso does say that the Dredge fear us of what will become, but it does not specifically say in the film that the Dredge fear the humans because they can build a new planet.
This is great.
Hello. We wouldn't have to build a new planet if you hadn't fucking blown up the one we had, you assholes.
This is the point, though. They are fearful that they are going to create a new planet, so they destroy the planet to make it so that they have to make a new planet.
That makes no goddamn sense. But
no, it sure doesn't.
But I still love this movie. Anyway,
this is another point, though, that I wish they would have taken a very tiny different explanation. All you would have had. I love the fact that they're on the that they show all the different animals and plants have been captured, the DNA. Like, great, that's a great part of the plot, that they thought ahead and they basically gathered, almost like Noah on the Ark here, that they gathered, DNA from all the different animals and plant life. This is great. But they could have just said that the Titan was carrying all these DNA, samples to, basically create new life on an already existing planet. I don't like the fact that they decided to take the easy way out and say that, this thing is capable of creating a planet from scratch. Well, give me a freaking break.
Well, now I have a comment that's going to come a little bit later, hopefully, because I haven't read throughout the whole plot before we recorded this episode, but hopefully they mention it and I can bring it up. So let's see here. Kale's father also explains that in its escape from destruction of Earth, the Titan has run out of power and can't currently execute the process of creating a planet. Kale's father's message is interrupted by Corso, who has arrived with the Valkyrie and the rest of its crew.
We just gotta think about this for a second, because I can't leave this point. It not only would have made more sense as far as believability if they would have just said that they were carrying basically all the life of Earth to transport it or to to infuse it into a new planet. It would also solve the alien thing, where instead of them being fearful of their ability to create a new planet, it would have been, we destroyed Earth and now we want to destroy this thing because it's carrying what could recreate Earth on another planet. That would have been a lot more believable for me.
Yeah. But the thing is about this whole... Before Corso destroys the message, Kale's father specifically says that the reactor can't get powered up or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you have a ship with a nuclear reactor that's going to actually do some good. That's a big switch.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, seriously. And then you take... All right, well, let me just continue with this here. Corso and Preed have disembarked, leaving Stith and Goon behind with the intent to get rid of them by planting a bomb inside Stith's wrist communicator. Goon, however, discovers the detonator in time and throws it down a corridor, saving Stith, but suffering seemingly fatal injuries. No, he just needed a nap. Back aboard the Titan, Preed turns on Corso, revealing that after Corso and the Dredge Queen fell out, the deal with them fell out. The latter approached Preed with the deal to kill all the humans in exchange for his own life and a wealthy sum. A tussle ensues, and Corso kills Preed in combat. Corso then attempts to steal Kale's ring, but falls over the edge of the bridge, disappearing into the depths of the ship below. Okay, first of all...
It was a horrible scene, by the way.
Oh, the animation on the fight sucked, but
picture Luke Skywalker holding on to the antenna, or picture Indiana Jones holding on to the chick that's about to fall into the crevice and whatever.
Yeah,
that scene was just stolen from 800 movies.
Yeah, but the thing is, the problem that I have with it is the whole deal with Preed and the Dredge. These are energy beings. How the hell do they have any kind of money?
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's a good point. I like the idea that that Preed is like a double crossing. He's basically been a traitor, and then he was a traitor to the guy he was with, a traitor with. If you can think of that. So I like
say
that.
Say that 5 times fast.
And I like that they show Corso killing him and everything like that. But really, it's too bad for Preed, because if he would have just taken a nap or got some rest, he probably would have been all right. That's another big issue I have. First, we've had Akima, who got shot in the shoulder. She's on the colony or whatever, and the people there say, "Oh, don't worry, you just need some rest and you'll be fine." So she, heals her laser hole in her body by sleeping. You have Stith, who gets blown up, who just basically needs to sleep and heal it. So this movie has taught me that if I ever get blown up or shot, as long as I just take a nap, I'm going to be all right.
So before Kale can recover, they learn the Dredge are attacking the Titan and gain the help of the other Valkyrie crew to defend it, including Goon, who unexpectedly recovered from his wounds. In the meantime, Kale comes up with a plan, remembering Corso's advice that the Dredge are pure energy. He could reconfigure the Titan's power system to harness the energy and start the planet creation process. Unfortunately, one of the 3 critical circuit breakers malfunctions, forcing Kale to go outside and activate it manually. While Akima and Stith attempt to fight off the Dredge, Corso reappears and offers to redeem himself by sacrificing his life to complete the circuit, while Kale returns to the bridge to activate the Titan. Okay, since when does human flesh with a gun equal circuit complete?
In this movie.
I like this. I really thoroughly enjoy this film. Don't get me wrong, folks. But just going through this plot synopsis is making me angrier and angrier and angrier.
Don't worry, folks. Though, even though Corso is apparently electrocuted, he will probably survive after a good night's sleep.
So at the ship,
then we get the worst part of the entire movie.
Uh-oh.
Let's finish up the plot here. As Kale and Akima step onto the new planet, Kale decides, or no, let's say it this way. Akima asks him, "What are you going to name it?" And, you should be thinking of all the cool names you could name a new planet. And Kale decides to call it Bob. Yes, folks, the new Earth is named Bob. That is the worst thing of the entire movie.
I thought it was funny, but I like how she basically says, "No, we're calling it Earth or New Earth or whatever." And then at the end, after it fades out, and you see all the colony ships coming in, you see the thing 3044 AD 16 AE. So
Could have named it. If you're gonna name it a human name it after your dad or something. Don't. Come on, Bob. That's the worst name for a planet I've ever heard of. That ruined the movie for me.
I thought it was funny.
It would have been funny if it was a joke, and then he was like, "No, I actually got a better name. I'm going to name it something cool."
So overall, this being the first time you saw this film, overall, without reading into it, just watching it for fun, did you enjoy it?
I like the action, I like the animation, I like the voice acting. The plot is got a lot of holes in it that are covered with a bunch of space chases and people recovering from fatal wounds by sleeping. But you know, I love the intro. I love the setup. It's got a lot of good parts, and then it's just got riddled with bad parts. I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah, if I really had to, I mean, like if this is one of those films that if I am so bored to the point where I need something to just to enjoy, to take my mind off stuff, I will watch this movie. And I can watch this movie like when I watched it today before we started the recording. I was watching it to enjoy it. I didn't start taking issues with it until whoever wrote the plots, the Wikipedia plot synopsis. I didn't start taking issues with it until I started reading it aloud, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you can't deny the holes.
Yeah, but still,
for a kid though, it's for a kid. It'd be great, but that's why this movie is a little bit harder to watch it as like a grown person.
Well,
unless you just put your brain on pause and refuse to think about anything that's happening. If you watch it just for pure entertainment and action and sci-fi, ness, and you can put your brain on pause, then it'll be great for you.
I completely agree.
I'm in over my head.
Well, what you just heard was a sample of some of the soundtrack songs. I wanted to put that in between the actual show and this, which is the music segment. What did you think of the music in this?
I thought the music was pretty good. You got a lot of kind of interesting groups kind of working together here, from Lit to Power Man 5000 to Jamiroquai, Luscious Jackson, Creed. I mean, you got a lot of weird mixture here, but I thought it fit well. It did a good job of making this sci-fi film feel current, feel, like a modern, stylistic, thing that people could connect to. I was kind of pleasantly surprised by the music.
Yeah, I was too. I mean, and like I said, Creed's song Higher was billed in the trailers and the TV spots, but it was never actually played in the movie or on the soundtrack. It's not featured, so maybe they couldn't get the rights to it. I don't know.
Or maybe they didn't want to be associated with the lead singer after he had a meltdown. Who knows?
That's a whole other podcast. Let's not get into that.
But I like it. It's My Turn to Fly would probably be one of the main ones, since they have that whole scene montage with that going on. But it's a bunch of not necessarily like mainstream groups doing a decent job of making this movie feel current. Yeah.
The two songs that I can probably listen to the most is The Cosmic Castaway and It's My Turn to Fly. Those are my two favorites. And like you said, I mean, the songs pretty much fit every scene, which is very, very cool.
Right.
So moving into the legacy segment, again, this film is only 10 years old, but we do have some reception here. While Titan AE was met with quite positive response, even receiving an Annie Award nomination for Best Animated Feature that it lost to Toy Story 2. Well, that's no surprise. The film ultimately flopped. It was a financial failure, and as a result, after the film's failure, Fox Animation Studios was shut down. Wow.
Yeah.
The film opened at number 5 with only $376,845 for an average of only $3,430 from each of its 2,734 theaters. The film then lost 60% of its audience in its second weekend, dropping to number 8 with a gross just under $3,735,000. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of numbers I don't really care.
Basically, the film ended up grossing about $36 million, which means that it's not too good.
Well, it is good. Damn it.
As far as as far as like a moneymaker, it wasn't good as a moneymaker.
Yeah. A reason commonly given for the financial failure of Titan AE is poor marketing with a poorly identified target audience. People were unsure, having seen the trailers for the film, how the movie was special, and whether it was intended for an older sci-fi fan crowd or whether it was pitched more at children. This confusion was further increased by the mixture of people who used to write and direct the production. Bluth added to the confusion when he stated during an interview with HBO's First Look, "This is not one of those cute little kid musicals. This film is nothing but action." However, the film garners a 70% fresh rating among users at Rotten Tomatoes, in comparison to the 51% given by critics at a C+ at Box Office Mojo. Notably, though, film critic, oh crap, here we go. I'm going to end up sending this asshole a letter, because Jesus Christ. Film critic Roger Ebert enjoyed it, giving it a 3.5 out. Oh, wow. Holy crap.
Yeah, take that back, what you just said.
Yeah, well, like I said, its rousing story, largeness of spirit, and lush galactic visuals, which are beautiful in the same way photos by Hubble Space Telescope are beautiful. He cited the ice ring sequence as a perfect example of what animation can do and live action cannot.
We should also mention that besides the one Annie, they were nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Science Fiction Film. They were nominated actually for 3 different Annies. They were nominated for a Golden Reel, nominated for a Golden Satellite, and they actually won a Golden Reel Award too. So it did get a lot of attention from different award groups and stuff like that. And like you said, it had a good Rotten Tomatoes review, but most critics and obviously the box office is kind of giving a different take on it.
Yeah, well, they can all go to hell. It's still good. It is on special edition single disc DVD.
But don't buy it.
Shut up.
Watch it once. Don't buy it. Watch it once so you can understand how many plot holes and mistakes that were easily avoidable that they left in there. But watch it also once for the great animation and the visuals and the above average voice acting. It's my mixed review. I give it 2.5 stars out of 5. Right in the middle.
You're fired, and we're now going to some commercials. We'll be back after this.
ToonCast will be back after these messages.
What up, ToonCast? It's your boy Kevin C. Also, Cell Therapy on Twitter. Calling in response to your Titan AE feedback. And I thought it had a lot of imagination. You know, tons of great ideas. Putting a lot of sci-fi, or putting sci-fi in an animated film, which I don't think is too common with animated movies, at least 2D anyway. But it was kind of wild to watch the Earth blow up, and I remember seeing this trailer for the first time, and I thought it was a live-action movie at first, and then I later found out that it was animated. Now, I did love the movie, but I had a bunch of problems with it. I did not like Matt Damon as the voice of Kale. It wasn't very expressive, and, some of the lows of his voice might work well in live action, but in animation, sometimes you kind of have to and I just really didn't feel that from Matt Damon's performance as Kale. And he killed, I would probably say, Creed. And overall, I thought it was a great attempt at combining, and it looked kind of off. And the human characters looked rotoscope, which is cool, and, I don't have a problem with rotoscope. But the creatures were animated very traditional, so those two techniques really conflicted, where you got like this, realistic rotoscope look for the human characters, but the creatures and all of the supporting characters, that's conflicted with that traditional animation where you have these really expressive takes, and sometimes the mouth opens really wide, and just those two different styles kind of conflicted a little bit. The story was okay. Like I said, I feel like it had a few holes in it, and some of it kind of felt a little rushed, and some of the development felt rushed. I also felt like Don Bluth was trying to keep himself relevant with a changing audience, but not a lot of people went out to support the movie. And I probably wouldn't put this in my top 10, but still, with all of that said, like I said, I had a bunch of problems with it. I still know all of the dialogue, and I own the soundtrack. So there you go. Great show, guys. Appreciate it. Bye.
Hi, my name is Jonathan from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I'm calling in regards to the Facebook shutout Mike had put about Titan AE, which I guess is for M-Wire. My general memories of the movie is I loved it unequivocally when I first saw it, just because it had been such a long time since there had been any major animated features in theaters. I mean, it wasn't the greatest movie, but it's just something about the animation and the voice casting just seemed to meld together almost effortlessly. I mean, Nathan Lane as, I can't remember, the rat-faced guy with like the half-metal head, who was like, the turncoat of the crew. Drew Barrymore as Kiva, Matt Damon as Kale. My favorite character was Goon, voiced by John Leguizamo, because, I mean, I didn't cry, but I got really choked up when, think Goon's dead, and me and my buddies got up in theater and just gave like a hoorah when Goon came back from his nap. And basically, I love the movie. It's something I'll watch. If it's on TV, I'll stop and I'll watch it for a bit. I watch it at least once every other month just because it's a sci-fi movie and it's an animated movie that it just works for me. I mean, other people don't really share that opinion nowadays. And it was the only effort to come out of the Fox animation studio like that. So, but anyway, that's what I wanted to say, and loving the show, guys. Keep it up. Okay, bye.
This is Dr. Wily, and I will destroy Mega Man while listening to ToonCast.
Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight. I see a new episode of ToonCast coming this week.
Now back to ToonCast.
We all know how Kevin feels about this film, so yeah, he's not getting a chance for final thoughts. I'm doing it. I do agree with you, though, if you just look at it as purely entertainment. I think, in my own personal opinion, that it is a very well-executed film if you're just looking at it as an entertainment standby, if you're not looking at plot points, if you're not looking for the Star Wars references, if you're not looking for whatever other references there may be in it. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Alrighty then. You said I can't say anything, so I'm not going to.
Oh, okay. So, thank you for joining us here on ToonCasters. Ways to get in contact with us, leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on each episode post. Join the forums, PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter. The show name there is GCRN ToonCast. Mine is TFG1 Mike. What is your Twitter?
Boss K Dog.
Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network and Behind the Voice Actors. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. The number is 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToonCast and wish you'll join us next time when we will be reminiscing on Johnny Bravo. Whoa, mama. For now, I am TFG1 Mike with...
I just woke up from my nap. Optimus Solo from BehindTheVoiceActors.com.
Until next time. Christ, I gotta find somebody for Johnny Bravo, because we all know you don't like it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Way there. That's it. Man, I'm pretty. Do the monkey with me. Come on. Hey there, baby. Oh, yeah, whatever.